Presented by Listen Headlines. Latest financial news from trusted sources.
February 11, 1900 America, New York. The promise of former Eastern-bloc economies is mostly unfulfilled. But those that joined the EU have done much better than the rest. February 11, 1900 America, New York. Asia's superpower does not always collect its debts on time. 39 developing countries have delayed repayment to China since 2000. February 10, 7:03 America, New York. Freedom Convoy. Canada trucker protests force car plant shutdowns. Toyota, Ford and Chrysler owner Stellantis have had to curb production because of border closures. February 10, 7:03 America, New York. Education technology hits a steep learning curve. Investors are walking away from education tech stocks, which still face healthy prospects as conditions worsen for the traditional higher education system. February 10, 7:01 America, New York. Twitter's mixed fourth-quarter earnings show challenges ahead. The company has ambitious targets for growth in the next 2 years. Twitter's headquarters in downtown San Francisco. February 10, 6:51 America, New York. Disney, Twitter, Mattel, PepsiCo, Tesla. What to watch when the stock market opens today. Disney added nearly 12 million subscribers to its streaming service. Mattel reported better than expected earnings during the holidays. February 10, 6:26 America, New York. Tesla sued over alleged racial discrimination. The electric car maker says a lawsuit by a California regulator, claiming harassment, is misguided. February 10, 6:24 America, New York. Contamination at maker of flash memory chips poses risk to global supply chain. Western Digital and Kioxia said they had to halt to some production in Japan. February 10, 6:09 America, New York. Private assets, Johnson Chen, Cap Bridge, Vox EP22. Asian investors' appetite is growing for private assets, and Cap Bridge is creating digital pathways for them. The post-private assets, Johnson Chen, Cap Bridge, Vox EP22 appeared first on Digital Finance. February 10, 6:06 America, New York. Inflation in Europe expected to peak early this year. The European Commission predicted that higher energy prices and the rising costs of some goods would push first-quarter inflation to 4.8%. Shoe shopping in Belgium late last year. February 10, 6:03 America, New York. Fred merchandise hit by supply crunch. Everyone's favorite Stats warehouse runs out of T-shirts. February 10, 6 o'clock America, New York. The life and house that street racing built. Kevin Lawrence ruled Chicago's streets 40 years ago, earning enough for a home down payment. He's still racing, with his family at his side. On a dark Illinois road in 1977, Kevin Lawrence, right, took on a Camaro in a race for cash contest of acceleration. February 10, 5:55 America, New York. Brussels curbs growth forecasts as inflation hits EU economy. High energy prices, Omicron and supply chain issues take toll on forecasts. February 10, 5:45 America, New York. The class warriors at the Bank of England. Economic policymakers tend to have a blind spot when worrying about wage price spirals. February 10, 5:30 America, New York. EUR GBP outlook remains cloudy as US CPI and UK GDP releases loom. EUR GBP is drifting lower in thin turnover as ECB board members try and pare rate hike expectations. February 10, 5:30 America, New York. Inflation expected to have stayed near 40-year high. Economists estimate the consumer price index rose 7.2% in January, the fastest pace since 1982 as supply chain constraints and high demand drove up costs. February 10, 5:30 America, New York. Why high gasoline prices could stick around for a while. Americans are paying about twice as much for gasoline now as they were early in the COVID-19 pandemic. And the high price is costing consumers away from the gas pump, too. February 10, 5:30 America, New York. Why high gasoline prices could stick around for a while. Demand for oil is outstripping supply, with little promise of relief ahead. February 10, 5:30 America New York, higher inflation is probably costing you $250 a month. Who is feeling the price squeeze the most? Here is a demographic breakdown of inflation's impacts. February 10. 5:18 America New York, corporate bonds in Europe tumble most since pandemic began. The bonds have taken their biggest hit since 2020 over the past week after a sudden pivot from the European Central Bank toward tighter policy reanimated worries about the region's economic health. February 10. 5 o'clock America New York, Biden administration outlines plan to build more EV chargers. Using $5 billion that Congress allocated last year, the Biden administration would require states to install high-voltage chargers along interstate highways. President Biden on Tuesday. February 10. 5 o'clock America New York, a gene sequencing pioneer battles over what it can buy. Is Illumina, a gene sequencing powerhouse, trying to speed innovation in the field of cancer blood tests or thwart it with an acquisition? Genetic sequencers in Illumina's lab in Foster City, California. February 10. 5 o'clock America New York, U.S. inflation expected to have accelerated at fastest rate in 40 years. Economists forecast 7.3% annual rise in CPI as Federal Reserve gears up to increase interest rates. February 10. 5 o'clock America New York, what's new in the Caribbean for 2022? Islands across the region are investing in infrastructure and new resorts, hoping that their popularity as pandemic escapes can translate into returning visitors. Aruba's Eagle Beach. February 10. 4:32 America New York, Ben & Jerry's owner Unilever says soaring costs will eat into profit. The consumer goods giant reported higher quarterly sales growth but warned its profit margin would fall sharply this year as it grapples with the impact of surging costs around the world. February 10. 4 o'clock America New York, Euro forecast, EUR, USD setting up for a CPI disappointment? With markets expectant of higher U.S. inflation data later today, EUR, USD price action begs to differ with several bullish setups developing. February 10. 3:51 America New York, European stocks rise and government bond yields edge up ahead of U.S. inflation data. Figures later on Thursday expected to show U.S. consumer prices rose at an annual 7.3% in January.